So as we all know at this point, Kamala Harris is now going to be the front runner for the Democrat nominee for the 2024 election after Joe Biden has officially dropped out of the race for rerunning. So there's still a lot of questions in the air, like how did this process happen so fast? What's going on with Joe Biden? Where a week or two ago he said he was going to beat Trump and he's the only man that could do it. Now all of a sudden he's dropping out. And the biggest one of all I think we all have is, who is Kamala's VP going to be? There are a lot of different options here, a lot of names circulating. So let's just have a look to see who the real front runners are. So this is a website called Predict It, where people kind of bid money on who they think is going to be it. You buy, sell, whatever, all that usual stuff, like with gambling. So a lot of these names, honestly, I didn't even know until I started looking into this, because people always throw a name like, oh, Gavin Newsom, Wes Moore, Hillary Clinton, which I believe all of them are guaranteed no's. I think Gretchen Whitmer already said she wouldn't do it. So you really got these top 5, 6 people here. Now, I don't think it's going to be Pete Buttigieg, even though the Democrat Party loves playing like identity politics. So having a gay man as VP with a Black Indian woman as president is something I could definitely see them doing. But it looks like they're going the old white guy route, which is funny because all liberals are constantly saying is we need no more old white guys in office, and then they're going back towards that direction. So, and the thing with these 3 men at the top too is like they're all pretty moderate when it comes to their voting, and even Bashir here from Kentucky is very moderate. So I think they're trying to draw back some of the crowd that RFK might be taking, or just voters that are like seeing the Democrat Party is going too extreme and that are leaning towards Trump. I think they're trying to win them back. So like I said, that Newsom's no, Wes Moore no, Clinton no. So let's get into looking at who these are. So the front runner is Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly is the senator from Arizona. Which the couple neat things about him, politics aside, he was an astronaut. And he was also a Navy combat pilot. So, politics aside, that's pretty cool. His wife survived being shot in the head. And apparently he's one of the most wealthiest members of the Senate. He's only 60 years old, only. You have to say only 60 if it comes to politics. Anywhere else, you would think, okay, they're going to retire soon, but not in politics. So his twin brother also was an astronaut. So if you don't look at his politics, he's a pretty interesting career, to say the least, right? He ran for Senate in 2020. He ran for the open seat John McCain created after he passed away from brain cancer. He ended up winning, and he's been in the Senate ever since then. So I think he wouldn't be up for re-election again until 2026. So just like every politician, it comes along with some controversy, right? Mark Kelly apologizes for insensitive remark. Dog bites candidate's husband. So what does that exactly mean? Democrat Senate candidate Mark Kelly has apologized for an offensive remark he made in an appearance at the Boy Scouts of America event in New Jersey in 2018. That goes back pretty far. Kelly joked that his twin brother had turned into a monkey, so they changed his name to Rodrigo and released him back into the wild. A video of the remark was posted on Twitter Thursday by Phoenix area Republican businessman Moses Sanchez, who called the joke racist and the video shameful. He must think people named Rodrigo look like monkeys. Now, I personally probably wouldn't have thought anything of this, but we do live in a sensitive world now, so you got to factor that into when it comes to these controversies. So yeah, that was his big controversy. And a big thing too, you're going to notice with these top 3 candidates, not so much Berkshire, they're all from swing states. So I think they're trying to go after candidates who not only are moderate, but can also pull a swing state. So Mark Kelly's Arizona. Arizona went blue for the first time since 1996 in 2020. So they're hoping to keep it that way. But as you can see, 49.4 to 49.1, it was definitely close. And relatively speaking, I guess it has been kind of a guarantee state since then or before that, but it's definitely not anymore. So I think Trump is up in the polls right now in Arizona, but definitely picking this man as VP could definitely swing it the other way. I could definitely see that. Another guy who I think is number 2 is Josh Shapiro. No, he is not related to Ben Shapiro. I don't think he'd be a Democrat if he was. So what's his story? So he's only 51, so pretty young for overall for someone running for president, vice president, anything like that. He became governor in 2023 of Pennsylvania, another swing state, a state also with a lot of electoral votes. I think like 4th or 5th most in the country. So that would definitely be a good state they would want to win. I think Trump's up by like 3 points right now, 4 points maybe. So he used to be a pediatrician and turned politician. He's been working on and off in politics since like the 2000s. So yeah, he's like a typical moderate candidate from my understanding anyway. Nothing too crazy that he's done in Pennsylvania. There's one thing I think is weird, which I think is right here. Let's see. So this is one of his controversies. One of the few controversies of Shapiro's tenure as governor came courtesy of one of his oldest allies, his now former legislative liaison, Mike Vereb. Shapiro and Vereb, a Republican, are both from Montgomery County and served together in the state house. When Shapiro became attorney general, he brought Vereb on as top advisor. And when Shapiro was elected governor, Vereb was one of the few Republicans to join his staff. But in September, Vereb resigned. His departure came shortly after reporters had learned a staffer had filed a complaint against him, alleging harassment that had begun shortly after the start of the administration. Spotlight PA learned that the administration had quietly paid out $295,000 to settle the complaint 3 weeks before Vereb's resignation. Shapiro would not discuss the matter in any detail with the administration, saying that only that it handled the matter in a professionally timely manner. So that's also probably $300,000 of taxpayer money he did that with. So people definitely should know about that. The governor also loosened a notoriously tight gift ban for his employees while arguing it would still protect against gifts from lobbyists influencing his agenda. So he loosened how easily you can get gifts as a government employee, but saying it's not going to influence anyone. And then the next paragraph right here. However, Shapiro still accepted free tickets, including to the Super Bowl, paid for by an unknown donor. Yeah, that's not shady at all. I wonder what that donor got out of it, giving free Super Bowl tickets to a governor. Interesting, right? The administration has still argued this is all in compliance with the state ethics and campaign finance laws. But Shapiro is one of the country's most prominent Jewish politicians. And that's possibly why he's not going to get selected. Because, where did I have that video at? Because that's bad, right? According to CNN, he's Jewish, so there could be some risk he's Jewish, so there could be some risk in putting him on the ticket. Let's take a watch.
Potential running mates. He also endorsed her tonight. In your view, what are the pros and cons for putting him on the ticket?
Well, he's certainly under consideration. I know that from key Harris allies. He's a first-term governor. He's Jewish. There could be some risks in putting him on the ticket, but certainly some of our voters here in Pennsylvania said, hey, we like Governor Shapiro. Give him a look. Also told O. Anderson that some other governors, Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, are on the list of the Harris team. One Harris ally told me today they hope to get her within a few days, assuming her path to the nomination continues to look good, and it does tonight, but we still have some question marks. They hope to get her a list, they say within several days to a week, of 4 or 5 names for her to pick.
Another thing weird about that too, he said they hope to give her a list of 4 or 5 names for her to pick from. Like, is she only allowed to choose these certain candidates? Is that like not like that's their only choice? Like, she doesn't get to actually choose? It's so crazy how controlling the Democrat Party can be. And then let's look at Pennsylvania, another swing state, like I said, which was Democrat every year until 2016. when Trump was president. Oh, every year since Bill Clinton in 1992. And then when Trump came along in 2016, he won it. And Biden won it back in 2020. As you can see, before Trump, this wasn't really a swing state. Look, 2008, 54 to 44. 2004 and 2000, definitely more of a swing state. But when the Obama years, it was guaranteed Pennsylvania. It was guaranteed blue. Trump changed that. I think Trump's up in the polls right now. So it's going to be an interesting one. If she picks Shapiro, it could go either way because, like the dude said, you have people on the far left that just are so against anything Jewish. They're all the Palestine people who, as of right now, don't even seem like they're going to vote for Kamala or Biden anyway. So I don't think picking Shapiro as your VP really affects that, especially because Kamala's husband is Jewish, and most people probably know that already. So I don't think it really affects anything. I think if she does pick him, though, they're probably near guaranteed Pennsylvania, which is scary because that's 19 electoral votes. That's pretty high. Okay, next on the list, we have Roy Cooper, the governor of North Carolina. He is a blue governor in a red state. So to even be elected like that, you have to be pretty moderate in the middle. Like I live in Maryland, and we had Larry Hogan, the Republican, for 8 years. He's pretty much dead on the middle. He's only a Republican by name. I feel like he's more of an independent. And that's how I kind of view Roy Cooper here. So he's up for grabs. I wouldn't say North Carolina is as easy up for grabs as the other states. They went blue in 2008, but since Reagan, it's been red every year except for the first year Obama won. And you could still argue it's a swing state. Like Trump only won it by 1.3 points. So yeah, you could still argue that it is a swing state, but I think it's still too deep red in my opinion. And this has less electoral votes than Pennsylvania. So I think that's why Roy Cooper's going down. I think when I did this research last night, I think his predicted thing was higher. So I still don't think he's going to be the candidate. And yeah, I don't know. He just seems too boring of a candidate, personally. And then we have Berkshire, who's fourth, who's going down. It's the same thing. He's a Democrat in a Republican state. So he's got to be pretty in the middle to get elected. He's a Democrat from Kentucky, but he's the governor. He likes to think he's like a man of the people. Keep in mind, Kentucky is one of the poorest states in the country. He grew up on the wealthy family. He grew up on the western side of Kentucky, so far away from Appalachia. He grew up in Louisville. They moved to Lexington, which is like the second biggest city in Kentucky, I think. Yeah, so he's not really like completely relatable with Kentuckians, because I think this whole push for Bashir is mainly because Trump picked J.D. Vance, who's like, oh, Appalachia, I relate to Appalachia, I grew up poor. Bashir technically lives in a state and represents a state that Appalachia is a part of, correct, but he doesn't relate to that because he's not from there. He's from wealth. He doesn't try to relate. So I just don't see it happening. Plus, Kentucky is going to go red no matter what. I can't remember the last time Kentucky went blue. Let's see. Election. Let's find out. I should have had this one already up. But since they're always guaranteed, I didn't really feel the need to. So, yeah, they haven't went blue since Clinton. They've been solid red, like 2020, 62-36, 62-32. They got a little close. The closest they got was Obama's first term, which many states were bluer than ever during Obama's first term. And that was still 57-41. So I think that's why, the main reason why Berkshire's not going to get picked, because it doesn't win them a state. Like with Shapiro and with Kelly, you're probably guaranteed either Arizona or Pennsylvania, whichever one you choose from. So I think that's what makes more sense to me personally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments who you think will be the candidate for the Democrat Party vice presidency. I think they're going to decide about August 7th. I think they're sometime in August their DNC is. But it's still interesting how they went from Joe Biden picking Kamala because she is a black woman. They straight out said that. People are like, oh, that's racist. Not racist, it's a fact. He wanted Gretchen Whitmer probably because she's a woman in general. And they were like, no, you got to pick a black woman. So then he picked Kamala. She was the biggest black woman name at the time. You know, it wasn't based off merit, it was based off the color of her skin. So it's interesting now, the party who picks people based on the color of their skin, their gender, is now going back to the old way, telling Kamala to pick like a boring old white guy. Except Mark Kelly. He's not really boring. He's an astronaut. There's no way that he's boring. But it's just interesting how they're kind of reverting back to, I guess, the old political ways, you could argue. So it's good. I don't know, it seems kind of fake to me. What do you guys think? So yeah, those are the top candidates. I don't know who's going to win, honestly. I don't know who's going to get it. It seems like Mark Kelly's the number one guy right now. So I guess we'll see what happens. We still got 4 months to go. It's a crazy time of the election. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, follow all my socials down below, and I will see you next time.